introducing my new dogs to the park. I think the other time I posted a video of me introducing the dog, and you mentioned that it was the wrong way to do it, and I said yes, I agree. And so because of that, I even posted a video again with a disclaimer that this is not the right way to introduce your dog. So then, what I've always been doing is I bring in the new dog, and the new dog is on the leash, and I release all my dogs to come around because I feel, in quotes, I have control over my dogs. So today, you're going to teach us how to do the right thing. I mean, we can be doing something that is working, but then it's not right. So then we are here for you to teach us how to do the right thing by introducing the new dogs to the pack or new puppy to the pack. And then you do a demonstration for us.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. A regular homeowner most often do not have control over their dog or think that they have control over their dog. They probably don't even know their dogs. Like, I wouldn't put the new dog in a situation where he or she's on a leash and then the other dogs in the house are rather free. In the sense that, let's look at it this way. The other dogs, this is their house, this is their territory.
Agreed.
They are empowered in that territory. The new dog, it's a new territory for him or her. But the most important thing you need to know is that how well do you know your dogs? If my dogs are like friendly, like super friendly, then I would do that situation.
Okay.
But if my dogs are dogs that you don't know what their temperament is, you never taking your dog out, you want to actually
You don't know how the dog is going to react.
Yes.
That's the point.
You want to actually put your dogs on a leash and then let the other dog, the new dog, have the freedom to escape. Because this is a new dog, this is a new environment, someone's territory. He has to be
So
able to
most
get
of the
away.
time, they won't be that dominant because they need to.
Yes.
It will take time for them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you look at it like, I know you've brought a lot of older dogs that are, excuse me to say, aggressive or extremely territorial. But the moment they come home, like the breeder will tell you, bro, be careful with this dog. This dog
Yes,
is crazy.
that's what
But
they
then
say.
the dog is going to arrive and you're like, oh, this is what they told me, but the dog's not like that. But then after a couple of days, you realize that now he's
When the confidence
realizing
is
that
in,
this is my
yes,
new territory.
yes.
Then he starts to take charge.
Correct.
Then his true temperament will come out. It's the
Correct.
same. So in the new environment, the new dog should have an escape route or a way out to get away. And then the older dog that this is it's their territory, it's the original territory. You have to be able to control them. What you want to do is prevent them fighting.
Okay.
So how would you prevent that? By having them on a leash. Because, for example, if I say that I can talk to my dogs, in a situation when you look at how dogs think, everything that dogs are doing, they're trying to figure out what is most rewarding for me. So if my dog looks like, oh, I can go after this dog and ignore Peter, and this is more fun for me, your dog is definitely going to ignore you. So you don't want to put your dog in a situation where he's going to have the opportunity to ignore you. That's why you need a leash. So take away that freedom of your dog knowing that I can go after this dog and ignore Peter and I'll have fun going after that dog. Because a dominant male that knows that I can overtake another dog and knows that I can also ignore Peter, who is my owner, he'll definitely choose that option.
Yes. Definitely attack the new
Yes.
dog. Correct.
So put your dog in the new dog in a situation where he can get away because there's a tendency that the moment they fight once, they are always going to fight.
Forever and ever.
So try and prevent that. And even I wouldn't do that just once. Like one day I just bring them and then do that and then they are okay. I'm like, that's done. No, I want to do it over and over until I realize that I for sure that this is not going to happen. So maybe at least as much as possible.
Okay. Right.
So it has to be a reoccurring something. And then you realize that, okay, now for sure when they see each other, all they want to do is like play with each other and there's no tension. You're studying their body language and everything. And then you're like, at this point, it's fine. So if you don't know your dogs, even if you know your dogs, keep your dogs on a leash. But this is for like adult dogs. But what if you have like a puppy, a 6-week-old puppy? Knowing your older dogs is also very important because how your older dogs will behave will tell you that when they see a puppy, they're going to go after it. So even the same way, I also have my older dogs on a leash and gradually take the older dogs to them, have the puppy be able to run away when they try to come at it.
All right. Let's demonstrate to them and let's show them how to introduce new adult dogs to the pack and then new puppies to the pack. All right.
In this video, we tackle the introduction of two adult dogs together. You see me in the video holding one dog and then Peter bringing the other dog. The other adult dog is off leash and then it comes to us and quickly walks away. What I'm doing is that I'm keeping the one on the leash who is already in the house under control and making sure that they are being introduced properly. So I'm going to have to wait for the dog to come close to me. What I want to try and prevent is the dogs locking eye contact. They are not looking at each other, and because basically making sure that it doesn't turn into a fight. So what we did was you'd see in the video that I turn and walk away. The only time I turn and walk away is when the two dogs lock eye contact and then they try to before it turns into a growl, I walk away. So like right here, you can see them look at each other and then I pull the other dog away. The one that is loose comes, raises his tail, and then I pull him away and then his tail goes back down. So you just don't want a situation where they will lock eye contact and then it will turn into growling. So every time that happens, you turn them away. Best thing you can do is actually take one dog and have them sniff each other from behind. But try as much as you can that you do this over and over until they're okay with each other. So this is the introducing a puppy to an adult dog. What we basically do, I had Peter bring out the puppy. He held up the puppy, and then I had the elder dog on the leash and walked the elder dog to the puppy. You want to do this, if you have multiple dogs, you want to do one dog at a time. Then I had him bring the puppy to the elder dog and had the elder dog check the puppy out. Then once he made the elder dog go behind and sniff the dog from behind, the puppy from behind. To put the puppy on the floor and then have the elder dog check the puppy out. Now the puppy is trying to play with the adult. You see the face the elder dog gave the puppy. It's like, I'm not interested in playing with you. If that turns into a growl, I would have pulled the adult dog away immediately. Because if you don't, then the adult dog is going to try and attack the puppy. Now he's coming to sniff the puppy out. At this point, they should be fine. You have to do this over and over. Assuming I'm getting a new dog today, what are the do's and don'ts that I don't want to do? Let's start with the perspective of getting an adult dog. And this also cuts across whether it's a puppy or an adult dog. But before a dog comes to your house, you need to be able to understand that this is what I want the dog to do, this is what I don't want the dog to do. You have to decide all of that before the dog comes home. Some people are very comfortable with dogs jumping on them. I am not. Some people are very comfortable with their dog sitting on the sofa. Sometimes I would allow it. Some people put their dogs in their bed. I'm not judging. I'm never going to judge. Whatever you decide to do, it's fine. But you need to understand that with dogs, you need to be consistent. The reason why you need to be consistent is that you always want to paint a clear picture in your dog's head. Let's take jumping for instance. A new dog comes home. I'm excited. I have a new dog. And because of the excitement, I allow the dog to jump on me. Then 1 week later, I'm like, I'm not in a good mood. And then the dog comes and starts jumping on me. I'm like, no, don't jump on me. At that moment, what did you tell the dog? You've left the dog in a state where the dog is confused. It's like, I thought this was okay to do. And then now you're like, no, don't jump on me. So whatever you're doing, always paint a clear picture in the dog's head. Yes, because then what will happen is that you never want to leave the dog in a state where he or she doesn't know, is today the day I get to be allowed to do this? Is today the day? He's not going to allow me to do this. So decide. Like, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, but you decide that what am I comfortable with. To get away with, like, especially when it comes to jumping, to get away with it, you can't actually teach your dog a command that when he or she hears, she knows that it is okay for me to jump. But like, they don't want to come out of like the blue and then just jump on you. So then you put a command to it, and then they realize that, okay, when I hear this word, then it is okay for me to jump. But if you haven't said this word, then it's not okay for me to jump. So associate jumping with a command so that they know that when I see Kelvin or I see Peter and he says this, then it's allowed. But if you don't do that and you just choose as and when your dog jumps, when you're like in your all white outfit and you need to go somewhere for an important meeting, your dog will just see you and like, I need to jump on Kelvin because it's out of excitement.
I have a dog like that. It jumps on anything, anyhow, anywhere.
Good. So in a situation where you have a dog that jumps on anything, anyhow, anywhere, you have to ask yourself that why is the dog jumping? First thing is excitement. 100%. Jumping becomes a part or a learned behavior for dogs when they are puppies. Like, they jump to latch onto their mom's breast, and then milk comes out. They're like, oh, this is fun to do. they come to us, they jump to get attention, they jump to get love, and then we start to pet them, and they're like, okay, I'm jumping to get the attention, and then you're touching me, you're giving me love. So I'm like, oh, this is right. So it becomes an automatically learned behavior because the dog is being reinforced because they're doing that to get our attention. Everything dogs are doing that they're doing for to get our attention or to get a reward out of it. So always ask yourself, every behavior that I don't want, what reaction am I giving to my dog? Because it takes a dog 1.3 seconds to relate a cause to an effect. So whatever my dog is doing, I have 1.3 seconds to teach my dog that this is wrong or this is bad. Right. Let's bring the dog out. Let's see if she's going to jump on me, and then I would show you what to do in the situation where I don't want the dog to jump on me. Do you think she'll be more comfortable off leash?
Him?
Yeah,
he'll be very comfortable.
Like, would he still try to come and jump on me?
Yeah, once you call him, he comes.
Okay, okay, so just take him off leash. Or actually leave the leash dragging. All right. Hey, come on. Come on, buddy. Good job. So another thing that I also want to mention is that, and this goes like prevention of bites and stuff. Like most of us, when we see a dog, we feel that it's okay to touch the dog. If the camera guy would zoom in and rewind and zoom in, you realize when the dog came at me, he came and then dipped his head into my hands like he's doing now. Yes. I would never pet a dog if the dog doesn't do this.
So the dog has to allow.
Yes, the dog has to invite me to touch them. Like he came in, he's like, I'm digging my hand into your palm, you have to touch me, like he's doing now. Again, so it doesn't matter who I am or who the dog is. I will never approach a dog that is standing behind and not doing this. The moment the dog comes into me and then dips their head like he's about to do, like now he's inviting me to touch him. Because dogs are territorial animals. Like you don't want to stretch out your hand and touch a dog. Your hand is going above him. You're trying to like dominate him. Some dogs will be okay with it, but some dogs wouldn't. So until the dog comes and does this, like, hey, I want to be with you, hey, and do it, it's like, okay, I want your hand, then you touch him. So also, most of the time, our reaction tells the dog, you need to jump on me. Like, crash, 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 crash. Come on. Shh, come on. Crash. Yeah. Good job. You want to jump? Well, for some reason, he doesn't want to jump on me. But in a situation where the dog wants to jump on... Okay, so what are you doing wrong? The moment the dog jumped on you, your hand was up like that. But imagine if the dog jumped on you and then your hand was down. Like even your hand was up. Like in a lot of situations, what regular pet owners do is that the moment their dog jumps on them, they get excited or they're like, I want to stop my dog from jumping on me. Like, no, no, and then start to push the dog away. The dog, like now, like if the dog is jumping on me and I'm trying to do this, he's going to come back and ask for more. Because in the dog days, I'm like, go back and then come again. Okay. So what you want to do, don't give the dog any reaction at all. If your dog understands what the word no is, then I would say no, and then my dog is going to stop. But how do you know if your dog understands what the word no is? You need to teach your dog that no means stop. So like now you invited him to jump. Yes. That's why he's jumping on you. But in the situation where he comes and you don't give him any reaction at all, there's no excitement. Yes. All right. So like every time your dog comes, he's excited, he comes. Because the excitement, he needs something to teach him that, okay, I need more excitement from you. But if you're not giving your dog any reaction, then what's the point of jumping?
I got it about 2-3 months ago. And it took her longer than usual to allow us touch her. And then even at that, at times, if you just surprise touch her, she reacts like she wants to bite. So then what is the problem and how can we go about it?
So it's all about building confidence and building trust. Okay. If I have a dog like that, I would keep the dog on a leash, not because I want to take the freedom away from the dog, but because I want to teach the dog to be able to coexist with me. Trust. Because, for example, if there's no leash on the dog and the dog that's just shy like that, he's always going to learn that instead of learning to stay with Kelvin, I can run away and go hide in my kennel. Okay. So no pressure at all. Just put the dog on a leash. Find a way to put the pressure. Find a way to keep the dog on a leash.
she's fine with me.
Yeah.
That's why she's allowing me to touch her and do everything. She's very fine with me.
So obviously at this stage it's fine really, but let's look at it from like a regular pet owner's view.
Okay.
Like what they are just going to say, oh, this dog is scared of everything and anything. But how do you build a confidence? The leash is your best friend. Like put your dog on a leash. Like even if the dog doesn't allow you to touch him or her, just put your dog on a leash and then do stuff with your dog. Find something that the dog likes, and then let the dog understand that.
So
hey,
she likes ball.
Yes.
She likes playing with the
So
ball.
like if this is my dog, can I hold a leash?
Yes, you can.
If this is my dog, like now she's even avoiding me. Like
yes, she's trying to.
Yes.
She's not come to you the whole time. She's still with me. Diva, new.
Diva, good girl. So I'm not going to force my way to her. I will just allow her to come to me. She can come check me out. I'm not even going to try and touch her unless she invites me. Like even now she's sniffing. Like now she's trying. Like no, I'm not comfortable with this guy. That's why she walks away. She's probably going to come back and sniff me again. That's fine. My focus is not to like be on a good note with her the very first day we just met. My focus is just to get her comfortable next to me, around me. And then what I probably would do, find a toy or something that she likes and start playing with her. In a situation like this, I probably would use like a ball that has a rope on it. The reason why I would use a ball that has a rope on it is that I don't want to get too close to the dog, especially a dog that's not comfortable. I also want the dog to feel that I can play with you. So I have a rope with a ball on it, and then I can show it to her. Which if she picks it up, I can try to take it from her, not to take it entirely, but like hold on it and tag a little. And then it will be like we are playing tug of war, but always letting her win. So I always let her win the ball. And then I try to go in, I'm like, hey, I need to take the ball from me. And then she pulls, I'm like, oh, you win. So in the dog stage, like, oh, I can always win with this guy, and it's fun to be with this guy. But no pressure. I'm not forcing her. I'm not trying to touch her. If she comes and sniffs me, that's fine. Eventually, she would build the confidence of coming to me and me pushing her head into my arms, trying to get me to touch her. But at this point, all she wants to do is just avoid me.
Yeah,
and
she sniffed, but she's still coming back.
Yes. And it's fine for dogs to do this. Like, it's really fine. I wouldn't judge the dog for being this. Like, even human beings, we are all not eager. We are all not, like, outspoken. So you just need to get the dog to be comfortable with you. And that's the trick to making it work. But it will take time.
Sure.
It's not something that's going to happen within 2 days or 3 days. But the best thing you can do is put the dog on a leash. And a toy. If she likes toys. Or if the dog has very food drive, start feeding the dog through your palm. But so what if the dog bites? What I would do is that even not all dogs would trust you enough to pick the food from you. Yes. But the fact that you're holding, you have the food, maybe just go in front of him or her. That's if you're comfortable with your dogs eating off the floor, and just drop the food. You start picking up from the floor, and then eventually he's going to feel, okay, fine, if I'm picking it from the floor, I can take it from you. But I wouldn't also, like, the first time, just fetch the food and shove it into the dog's mouth. No. I probably would drop it on the floor, have her pick it up a couple, and then with time, it's like, okay, I can take it from you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. One more situation. I'm using my dogs, for example. So I beg, if you need him to do the same thing for you, call him and let him come and teach you how to go about whatever situation you have in the house with your dogs.
And all this that we are doing are for, like, educational purposes only. I probably would also advise that, like, talk to a professional. It doesn't have to be me. Any professional dog trainer, talk to them and let them guide you. Like, don't try to do it alone because it may go wrong. I'm not saying it's not going to work out, but it may go wrong. And you don't want a situation where things go wrong before you seek trainer's help.
So then now we have, he taught us how to go through 2 ways already. That is a dog that is always excited and jumping all over us, and a dog with trust issues. Then thirdly, another issue I have in the house is with one of my dogs. When you are playing with him, out of excitement, he grabs your hand. Like he wants to bite, but he doesn't bite. At times he growls out of excitement, and I need to stop playing at once, let him cool off, then we play again. If I go beyond his growling and all that, he starts staring whatever I'm wearing, and then that's how it is. So what do we do about it?
So in a situation like that, I mean, we don't need to take that dog out now. In a situation like that, put yourself in the dog's shoes. That's how dogs play, right? That's how dogs play. Like, dogs bite each other, growl at each other, and some people are okay with their dogs biting on them. But then, not like biting, I wouldn't call it a bite, like nipping on them.
Nibbling, okay.
But then, like I said in the beginning, everything that is happening, you have the opportunity to tell your dog this is fine or this is wrong. Me personally, I'm a balance trainer. I believe in corrections. So if I have a dog that jumps on, like likes to bite and stuff, we would be playing, but I'll put the dog in a situation where I can tell him that no, this is wrong. Don't do this. By giving the dog a correction or stopping the play. Every time that happens, just stop the play. But the best way for this to work is give the dog a correction, because even when you stop the play, you've not really answered the question in the dog's head. Because, for example, my dog is biting on me and then I stop the play.
I stop and lock it, and then we try again. That's why
Good.
he keeps doing it.
Yes,
Okay.
because in the dog's head, the fun just ended. But have you really taught the dog to stop it? So, for example, my dog is biting on me, and I have a way to correct my dog. I still want my dog to hold my hand, then I say no, and then give my dog a correction, and then we continue to play. Then he learns that, oh, we can play, but this is what you don't want me to do. So I give my dog a correction, my dog stops. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go back to play. We start again, we are playing, and the dog grabs me again. I'm like, no, I give my dog a correction. This is not allowed. So in that moment, I'm not avoiding the situation, I'm actually addressing the situation. And that's what a lot of people do. They always avoid situations, and then by locking their dogs up. So every time you lock your dog up when something happens and you don't address it then to try and fix it, you always leave question marks in your dog's head, and then they'll do it again and again.
Right.
So it's like, for example, a dog that likes eat on the floor, and then there's food on the floor. That's for dogs, people that are not comfortable with their dogs eating on the floor. There's food on the floor. You walk towards the food. Your dog grabs it. You see food, and then you walk away. But then, what happened? Did the dog learn not to eat on the floor? No. Your dog learns that when you see food, you turn away and go the other way. The next time your dog sees food, you know what's going to happen? It's going to try and be faster to grab it before you turn away. But assuming I walk with my dog to the food, and I'm like, he tries to go for, I said, no. And then he looks at me, and I said, yes, no, don't do it. Maybe I give my dog a correction. That's for people that want, like me, balance trainers, we always want to give a dog a correction. And then when so my dog sees the food is going to go for it, I'm like, no, I say no first, and I give my dog a correction. Because I want my dog to understand that I'm giving you the correction because I said no, and that's why the correction is coming. But the moment my dog ignores the food, I let my dog understand that, yeah, you're making a good decision. So I can reward my dog for making that decision. But I don't move away from it. I actually go close to the food, teach my dog that when you see this, don't do this. So the food is there, I'm not going to walk away from it. I'm actually going to go close to the food and give my dog a correction. If my dog ignores the food, I reward my dog. So then, now the picture is clear. In the dog's head, we didn't ignore the food. Or you didn't just give me a correction for not going after the food. You rewarded me for ignoring the food. So now you have a clear picture. Now you've answered every question that comes up in the dog's head. What does Kelvin want me to do? Kelvin wants me to do when I see food. He wants me to ignore it. But the moment you see something like a situation and then you walk away from the situation, it will always be an unanswered question in a dog's head. So like dogs that, let's say, see people, you're walking them, and then they start to bark at people, and then you're like, oh, I'll turn the other way. Every time they see people, they're going to bark, because you've never taught them what to do in that situation. So the moment I see someone coming, if the person is comfortable, I'll say, hey, do you mind if we walk towards you? My dog tries to bark at them. I'm like, no. My dog stops. I say, good job. Then we walk towards the person. My dog tries to bark at the person. I say, no. My dog stops. Good job. Then the next time he sees someone, he's like, okay, when I see someone, they don't want me to bark. But if I see someone and I cross the street and go to the other side, he's always going to go like, I need to go after the person. And then the next time, your dog is going to be paying more attention, try to react faster to the person by barking before you even cross the road. So let's talk about separation anxiety and how to help your puppy, and how best you can raise a dog that wouldn't have separation anxiety, and then how best the dog would live a very good life without being so dependent on you. Let's look at it this way. Assuming I have a little kid, right? I would never leave the kid alone at home. Because what's going to happen when you leave a kid alone at home? By the time you come back, the dog has messed up the kid has messed up the room. He's drawn on the walls. Like your house will basically be upside down. Because of that, you never leave a kid alone at home. The same with a dog. A lot of people feel that when I have a dog, why do I have to leave them alone? So they tend to spend a lot of time with the dog and never teach the dog to be independent. So all the dog learns is I always have to be carried like this, like he's doing now, or be petted. And everywhere they are going, even at home, they never give a dog the opportunity to learn to survive on their own. Like the moment the dog starts to whine, they pick the dog up, the dog starts to like do anything, they pick the dog up. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that you are teaching the dog to be dependent on you. Now, I have this here. This is a crate. I'm never going to tell you to put your dog in a crate. It's your own personal decision. But in my opinion, this is the best thing every pet owner can own. Why is that possible? Or why is it, like, in my opinion, is the best thing every pet owner can own? If I'm home all day and I teach my dog that every hour or every 2 hours I put you in a crate and you are just going to be there to chill on your own. Remember, the crate is not a punishment. It's just he going in there to just chill on his own. He might whine, he might make a little bit of noise, but I'm just going to teach him that no, whining and making all that noise is not going to get you to come out. What am I teaching the dog? I'm teaching the dog to be independent and be on their own when I am home. So assuming I leave the house for an emergency, I've already taught the dog to be on their own. So the dog will never feel that why has Kelvin left me all alone and I have to be all alone by myself. That's never going to happen because the dog has learned that even when I'm home, he can be by himself. So a lot of times, separation anxiety is something that owners create or like they train it into their dog because they never teach the dog that you can be on your own and you would do fine by yourself. That doesn't also mean that when I leave and I'm going somewhere, I can leave my dog to roam out and about. Because it's a puppy, it starts to chew and do other stuff. So if I leave the puppy at home alone, what will happen? I'll come back and he has turned my rope outside down or inside out. That's where the crate also comes in. If my dog has learned that I can chill in the crate by myself, I'm just going to put my dog in a crate when I go out. And this helps with potty training as well. Because assuming my dog stays here all day, where is he going to potty? He's not going to potty on my couch. He's not going to potty out any other place. He's just going to stay in there. He might potty inside his crate, but it's likely to happen, especially if my timing is wrong. Because if I have a puppy, I know that the puppies cannot hold their bowels or like they cannot hold their bladder. So like every now and then I'd have to take my dog out. So separation anxiety is something that could be prevented. The dog to be by themselves alone and then enjoy being by themselves. I probably would give the dog some toys to play with, or I would give them something to chew on, something edible to chew on, and then let them just enjoy their time by themselves. Like this. Give them a toy, a ball to play with. Can you put a camera on him? Good. So interested in me, he's interested in the ball. And these are also games that you can play with your dog, let them enjoy playing with stuff, but keep them busy. Keep them to like condition your dog to feel that I can be by myself all together. Oh, that's beautiful. I love dogs that will bring stuff to you. Like that's one of the things that I look out for when I'm buying a puppy. So you want to do stuff like this, and then like the crate, I'm gonna just throw the ball inside there. Let him see it. That's fine. So this is not part of what we are doing, but I just want to address something. You realize that the moment the puppy went into the kennel and the kennel was moving in a funny way, he's unsure. That brings us to the fact that everything that happens to a dog, it takes a dog 1.3 seconds to relate a cause to an effect. So he had like an kind of like unpleasant feeling when he entered the crate. Now he's skeptical about going into the crate. So if by the first time a dog goes into the crate and it was a good experience for him, he's always going to go into the crate. So everything that's happening with your dog, like understand that you have like a split second to either encourage or discourage. So the same with like keeping puppies. Always teach the puppies that you can be by yourself. If you put your dog in a crate and your dog starts to whine, and then you come and you open the crate, your dog learns that if I'm put in the crate and I start to whine, they're going to bring me out. If not, I have to stay in there. So when you're crate training your dog, it doesn't matter if it is a crate, like let's say it's a playpen or anything that can keep your puppy confined and by themselves. Teach your dog that you have to be there on your own, because everything that is happening, you might be training your dog, but your dog is also training you, because my dog is doing something and then I go take my dog away from it and then he starts to whine. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put you back to it. Then my dog learns that, oh, if I want to keep doing something, I just have to whine and then they'll allow me to do whatever I want to do and I don't have to do what they want me to do. So the best way to solve separation anxiety or to help your dog be sufficient on their own is to teach them to be by themselves. Like if I have a puppy, I'm not going to be carrying the puppy all day, every day. Even if I am home, teach the dog to be by themselves. And you have to puppy proof your house as well. The reason why I have this here is that if I have a puppy, I want to teach it to be on a leash, because that way I have better control of my dog. Example, if I leave my dog here and I go to the next room and my dog is not on a leash next to me, he can choose and decide to do whatever he wants to do. Everything that he does, the moment he has any positive feeling towards it, or he finds out that, oh, this is fun for me to do, he's going to keep doing it. Okay, now let's talk about potty training. Potty training is something that the only time you're going to be successful at it is if you communicate clearly to your dog. I would never leave my dog off leash, and this is also personal preference. I'll never leave my dog off leash until I know 100% that my dog is potty trained. If I am home, I want to get a crate like this. I want to get a crate that is just big enough for my dog to be comfortable in it, but not big enough for my dog to know that, for example, if I have a crate double this size and my dog knows that I can lay on this side and then go pee or poop on the other side, I'm setting my dog up for failure. But I want to have a crate that my dog has just enough space to lay down and maybe stand up or maybe even turn around in it. And this is also a personal preference. I don't prefer to use pee pads inside the house, because what are you teaching the dog? You're teaching the dog to pee on the pad inside the house, which may actually teach the dog that it's okay for them to pee inside the house. If I'm going to use pee pad, I'm going to put the pee pad outside. And what I'm going to do is study my dog's sequence of pee and pooing. What I want to do is, this one thing that you also want to take into consideration when you're getting a puppy at first. You want to get a puppy at the point where you can have maximum time to spend with the dog. So for example, if I have a very busy schedule and I want to get the dog, I probably will get the dog Friday night. The reason being, maybe Saturday I don't have work, Sunday I don't have work, I'll get enough time to spend with the dog for the first 3 days and teach him or her where I feel you should go and poop and pee. So what you want to do is, assuming I get my dog Friday night, when I come home that evening, I probably will stay up all night. And what I'll be doing is, for the first couple of hours, I'll be taking the dog out every 1 hour. And then after that, I'm going to decide, okay, I took the dog out within a period of an hour, every couple of hours, like every hour. And then I realize that when I take him out every hour, he doesn't pee. He only pees after 2 hours. Then the next time I'm going to decide, okay, now I want to do 2 hours. Also, you never want to leave food and water down for your puppy. That doesn't mean that you're not going to give your dog food and water, just restrict it. Because a lot of times when something goes into the puppy system, something might come out. So if my puppy is here, we stay in this house, I put the food and water somewhere. And then if I feel like, okay, my dog would need water at this time, I bring the water, he or she drinks it, and then I take the water away. The moment I take the water away, I take my dog outside. Now you have to remember that everything that dogs is doing, you can easily associate a word to it. So, for example, I want to take my dog outside. I want to say, let's go outside, or let's go potty, or use any word of your choice. You don't need to use any specific word, but make sure you always say that word when you take your dog outside. So after your dog drinks or eats, you take your dog outside, stand in one position. Teach your dog to understand that, hey, we are here to pee, we are here to poop. But if you take your dog outside and then you walk, then you're teaching your dog that when we go outside, we have to walk before you pee or poop. So I take my dog outside, stand in one position, and then just say my potty command. I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to play with my dog. If my dog does it, fine, I would praise my dog. But if my dog doesn't do it, it's okay. We are still learning. I bring my dog inside. If I am busy, I put my dog in a crate. If I am not busy, I use my leash. The reason why you want to use your leash is that if your dog wants to pee, he might just walk away, and at that point, you wouldn't be able to see your dog. And then you just maybe get up from the sofa, and then you realize, oh, my dog peed behind the sofa. But if your dog is on a leash and you're holding the leash, the moment your dog starts to walk away, you realize that the puppy is walking away and he might pee, and then you take your dog outside. So these are, in my opinion, the best tools you can get to potty train your dog: the leash and the crate. If the dog is out of the crate, he's on a leash, because that's the only way you can tell what your dog is doing. But if your dog is not in the crate and it's not on the leash either, there's chances that he will just decide, I want to go pee here, and then they will go. I want to go poop here, and then they will go. So until you realize that my dog would go and pee outside, or if I take my dog outside, he will pee and poop, I'm never taking my dog off leash, because I don't want him to decide where he wants to poop or pee. I want him to decide that I want to be the one to decide where my dog pees and poops by taking my dog outside.
So this is a dog that has bite history, and this was an opportunity for me to demonstrate what to do if you find yourself in a situation with a dog that would bite. What happened was that I actually opened the kennel for the dog to come out, and then when the dog came out, it went straight to Peter and then came back to me. When he came, the first thing he did was grab my leg, and then after he grabbed my leg, he grabbed my hand, and then went back and grabbed me from behind. The only thing I did differently, or the only thing that saved me from getting a bite, is I didn't yell at the dog. I didn't say anything to the dog. I just kept my calm. And that's one thing that you always need to think about, like being calm. I know it's very difficult to keep calm in the face of danger, but that's the only thing that can save you. This is a dog that's have the history of biting people, has hospitalized 2 people, and that's the reason why Peter has him. And it also brings an interesting point that I want a lot of people to get used to: the fact that you need to build a good relationship with your dog. When he did the second one, all I said was, Peter, call your dog, and Peter just called him and he walked away. If Peter didn't have a good relationship with his dog would probably not walk away, and he would just be trying to find ways to get me to react to what he's doing, and then eventually he may have beaten me and it would have been ended badly.